Hey everybody, welcome back to the Miser's Guide to Evony. In today's consultations video, we are going to look at a keep that just wanted generalized feedback, just all across the board, a little bit of everything. Just check out what's under the hood and what's going on so that they can get some feedback for growth, PvP, whatever you name it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to peek around everywhere and see where they're at. They did tell me that they invested quite a bit of money in, and I can see, yeah, they're VIP 17, uh, the early end of VIP 17, but that's still like way more than me. So they are wondering what they can do to improve. They're feeling kind of like they're stuck in place, and they just want to know how they can be a little bit more effective. So we're going to go look around here and see what can be done. So first of all, I don't know a whole lot about the situation of this player. I don't know if they have multiple alts or not, or it's just the solo kingdom or so on. But I'm going to go under the assumption that it's just an individual person playing one account. So with that in mind, I'm looking at these resource tiles, and I'm seeing there's a lot of development that still needs to happen here. This is probably one of the areas that you, as a player, want to work on first, because if you can get your economy strong, it really helps to accelerate your growth in every other area. So it's an investment, but it's a long-term investment. So sooner you get your in-city tiles up, the faster you'll be able to build buildings. The faster you'll be able to build buildings and so on, and eventually pump out military as well. If you don't, then you're going to rely on other sources like gathering and buying packs and so on, and you're just at that point wasting money that could have otherwise been used in other areas that need attention as well. So definitely work on that resource production first. I want to see where you're at right here. So in terms of resources, yeah, that's really low. This is keep 35, so this production is very, very low. I also noticed that there's quite a few farms. Farms, when you have 850 million power, not a great idea. You don't want to have more than one or two farms because your upkeep is going to be astronomical in comparison to uh, what you're producing. So let's look here as an example. The upkeep is 16.6 million food per hour, and the production of resources, so for food, is one. So that's a net of 15 million negative. So there's no way that you're going to be really effective in using all these farms. So I would scrap everything that isn't 35. Keep your 35 here, obviously. I would get rid of the 22, 22, and maybe the 24. So get rid of, oh, wow, you got more down here too. Yeah. So maybe keep two or even one. If you can stretch it, get rid of all these other farms, keep the 35. And that way you can use those spots to plug in a few more quarries or sawmills, because that's a lot more valuable in terms of resources. You're going to want to get most of your food from boxes, from hunting bosses, and from storing things away into your what do you call it, the alliance warehouse thing, to the maximum. Anything extra is just really something that you have to deal with. That's a problem. So it's easier to just eliminate those and get useful resources that you can stockpile. Okay, resources done. Let's take a look at this player's generals. Okay. I'm guessing some of those ones that are up on buildings right now are actually for PvP, but I'll check them out. What do you got on the wall right now? Joseph is on the wall. Let's see how he's looking. Not a bad general. Okay, you've got Achaemenid 6-piece. There are better ways to do your wall general, but there's nothing wrong with 6-piece of Achaemenid. It's nice to have that minus 15%. But if you do manage to get that kind of stuff on your subsidy, then you might want to go more for actual troop stats on here. So, I mean, you'd have to play around with it, but a couple pieces of Ares or civilization gear in the right places will make this guy quite a bit stronger than just 6-piece Achaemenid. Because some of them aren't really good in terms of stats. Yes, you've got excellent debuffs, but debuffs aren't everything. You also want to worry about your buffs for your actual troops. Doesn't matter on subsidies, but for your wall general, buffs they're crucial. So you might want to relook at which pieces you're using. The refines are pretty darn good though. Look at those. Those you really have worked on that, I can tell. Okay. So keeping that in mind, like even though there are definitely better pieces than this, like even that ground helm and so on, like this is really good refinement. It was probably a waste to do it, but it's already done, so use what you've got. So I would probably keep that for now. But some of these other ones that don't have good refinement, you might want to look if there's an Ares piece or something that you could replace it with. Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of these, and many of them have really, really poor refinement. And this is the number one way that you're going to improve on your defensive game. The only one with good refinement is this one. So you want other stuff to look good too. Like look at this one. It's a little deceptive because it's like 24, 25. Those aren't percentages though. Those are the whole number values, which means they're incredibly low. The only good refinement on here is 24.7 ground troop defense. So you should lock that and re-roll everything else and get some really good stuff. But do it with the right gear. Make sure that before you jump ahead and start refining, that you've picked the right gear. I have a nice spreadsheet for doing that. You can go in and see what you can get, the max stats for all that. So don't just jump and start refining. Make sure you've got the good long-term piece of equipment there. And your power is really low for a defense general, and that's really because of your lack of refinement on this gear. You also want to work on your specialties. These are a little bit low, but that's something that comes with time. It's really hard to accumulate those. What do you have in terms of dragons? You've got Norway Ridge and the Demon and Fafnir. All right. Interesting choices of generals. I would probably for now put Norway Ridge on here on your main defense general. It's a lot more valuable that way. Your defense is so important. So put a dragon there and improve your general stats. The spirit beasts are okay, but they're not as effective as a dragon. They're really not. So swap that. Put a dragon there. Put Norway Ridge and build your Norway Ridge up. If you can eventually work your way towards Wonder 2, I see you've got Wonder 1 unlocked. If you can get this accomplished, then you're going to unlock the Dragon of Thebes, which is going to be way better on your wall general, and then your Norway Ridge can go on something else. Okay, so that's your wall general. What do you have for PvP? So you've got an Electra you've been working on. I see that. You got a couple pieces of Civ gear. Electra is more a ranged person, so you've got some really weird refinement going on here. This is better. It's not good numbers overall. Like you've got one really good one, and then the rest are. Oh, the 702 might be okay, but the refinement that you have on here really needs work. This is better. This, I mean, it's not ideal stats, but this is a lot better than the other pieces. This is good. Oh, this is good, all right too. This, I'm guessing that this was meant to be for your mounted guy, which is Aethelfled. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with this piece. It's kind of a waste because these are some pretty good refines, but on a siege piece of gear, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's quite strange. So let's see, what would I do to fix this? If you want Electra to be your PvP archer, that's good. You've got Ares that you're working on, and a little bit of Achemenidae, which is, it's a good ring. It's a good choice. So you got 2 out of 6, and you've got 2 out of 6 here, and you've got 2 out of 6. Okay, that's fine. Your setup of equipment isn't that bad, but the pieces that you have, some of them don't match up. Um, are you trying to use Electra as like a siege and a ranged general? I'm not sure that that's really what you should be doing with her. You should just focus entirely on ranged. So swap this piece out for an Achemenidae that is buffing your ranged troops, or an Ares that is buffing your ranged troops. And this looks okay. This is good. This is good. Freedom, yeah. Yeah. So preferably, I can't think off the top of my head if there is an Achemenidae version that has, if the other one has ranged stats on it. If it does, go with that. If not, then it might be a better idea to put in another piece of Civ gear here, or to switch it to an Ares that actually does have range stats. So yeah, this piece just doesn't fit at all. So take that out. Your dragon looks good. I don't know what the refines are on it. Yeah, looks like it's a good start. Switch that to 9.8% mounted troop defense. Switch that to something else that's ranged specific. Let's take a look over here. This is what you're using for killing bosses, but the gear would probably swap over to your PvP cavalry as well. Okay. Spear looks okay. Uh, yeah, it's pretty decent there. You've got a couple pieces of Civ gear here again. Plant helm, decent refines. A little bit of improvement here and there, but it's, you've got so many other areas to work on. I would leave this alone. That's pretty good. That's very good. I really like this piece. This piece is done very well. Let's take a look at your Ares legs. Okay. This general is looking significantly better than the last one. This piece is not. This piece, well, you got these two stats. It looks like they were refining and they just took whatever popped up, which is fine. It's a work in progress. But I can tell with this general, you're doing things the right way. This one's looking a lot better. A lot. At your books, okay, 12%. Defense against monster, HP against monster. And she is attack and defense by 55% to attack monsters. So you might get more value out of putting a straight attack book for mounted here instead of the march size increase. It might be more beneficial. Generally, for boss killers like this, attack and HP for mounted is really what you're looking for. Defense is good too, But attack and HP are really the crucial ones. You've really worked out this specialty. Wow, that's pretty good. Nice. Anyway, that there's some small improvement to do here, but I would not focus my energy on this general. This general's looking pretty good right now. Trajan is, I'm guessing that that's not the general you're going with for ground, or maybe you just haven't started. Yeah, you just haven't started yet. Okay. Nothing wrong with Trajan. He's good general, good free-to-play general to start off with your ground. Doesn't look like you've really worked on him at all. So that's another thing that's a work in progress. So I can see that you've worked on your cavalry and you've worked on your archer. But you will want to get a PvP ground going and eventually a siege as well. So those are a couple other areas that you can work on. What else do you have down here? Okay, here's some of your subordinate city people. Leonidas. Okay, so this will not work for your main city troops. So he's not very valuable as a mayor of a subcity. And you know because it says when he's the main city defense general that it buffs your troops here. So first of all, it's not applying. And even if it didn't say that, usually the kind of generals that you would put up there and they say they're buffing troops, like okay, let's say there was a general out there that had this, and you put him on your sub. Increases mounted troops attack by 20% when generals leading the army. When they are attached to a subordinate city, they are only affecting the troops of that subordinate city. So you are technically doing something, and it is technically an increase, but your subordinate city troops are probably in the hundreds. You might have a couple hundred tier 7 troops or something like that. And yay, you're buffing them 20%. That's not really doing a whole lot. So what you want to focus on instead is to put mayors on your subordinate city, like Andrew Jackson's a great choice. Reduces enemy ranged troops by 20%, their attack, and mounted troop HP by 20%. Because that affects all of the opponents that are attacking you. It's not about your sub-city troops at all, it's about the opponents. So it does actually affect everybody. So Andrew Jackson's a great choice. 60's great. What else you got going on? Arminius is okay. So some easy changes right here. Get a few more Andrew Jacksons. Replace Nordic King. No, Nordic King is fine as he is. Not Nordic King. It was Leonidas. Replace Leonidas. And you could replace the ones here too. Or you can leave them. But at the very least, replace your Leonidas. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Queen Jindioks. The skill books look good. So for resource gathering now we're looking at, looks like you've got King's Gear. No, this is Champions. The first one was Kings. Okay, so you got 1 for Kings, which is great. And what does your refining look like on your weapon? Okay, so there's a few pieces that when you refine them, you'll get gathering speed, and a few pieces that you'll get load. Load isn't a big deal, but if you can get some of the pieces that have the refining for gathering speed, it's pretty valuable. It's not like crucial. It would definitely be preferable to work on your PvP guys instead of do this. But if you end up with extra refined stones and you don't know where to put it, then you can do it here just for some increase in see here, or gathering speed, you could do that. But low priority. That's a low priority in comparison to getting your archer guy fixed and building up a ground and siege generals. So don't worry so much about that one. That's a long term thing for you. Um, what else can we look at here? Let's look at your academy, your research. Where have you been focusing your energy? So your advancement tab is so far looking pretty good. Got a little bit of work to do in some of these areas, but not that much left. So you might have just missed that one by accident because it looks like you did everything else. So finish up your advanced masonry, and that'll really help if you end up getting rid of some of those farms and building up a few more quarries. Defense, not too much that matters in defense, but the ones that do matter looks like you have so far. So that's the defending stuff like this and this. Yeah, that. Yeah, everything here looks pretty good. Military, this is a pretty important tab. Looking good. Okay, you're doing pretty good on research so far. Medical aid. All right, some work to do with your revival and so on. That's not a big deal. Alliance stuff. Yeah, this is more like, yeah, you could increase in a few areas like this. But I wouldn't say that that's a huge priority to work on it just yet. This one, I can already tell you right now, this is one of the priority areas for you to work on. You want to work on the subordinate city tree, not because subordinate city growth is important. It's not at all. It's because when you get down here to these, the in-city attack, HP, defense, these are so important. Down here too. These three, and again at the bottom here. All those ones that are like super in-city or in-city this, those are so important. You can go bare minimum for the rest just to get to those, unlock them, and get them done. They're very, very important to get done. So work on that for sure. Recovery, if you want to participate in server to server and those kind of things, eventually you will want to get this done before you do that, so that you have this isn't the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about medical aid to get your light of server war and stuff done, which looks like you've already done that. But you've got some other areas. Yeah, there's one more there, more here. So that'll just help make it less costly. Recovery is more for building up your holy palace and so on. So if you do stuff around on your server and you're attacking other players, this is a good one to get done. But it's not as important as getting like the subordinate city tab, getting that up, because that's going to help you everywhere. Battlefield, on the map, server, it doesn't matter. Military advance, looking good. Looking really good. You got a couple to finish off, but it's looking really good. Yeah, this is one of your stronger tabs. It's the newer one, so it's rare for everybody to be finished off here, but you're doing good progress there. Okay, that's it for research. Let's go take a look at your troop counts. Troop details. Wow, you are really cavalry heavy. Easy tip right now, stop building cavalry. 2 million, tier 14 is plenty. You don't need to go beyond that even for bosses. It's plenty, especially at your size. What I'm seeing right here is probably a big chunk of your 800 million power is probably just cavalry, which leaves you extremely vulnerable if that's all you've got. You've got almost as many archers, but you want to have way more of the rest. You don't have very much ground. I'm guessing you were slacking on that one because you don't have a ground PvP general. but it's so important to have that ground for defense. You don't have your siege unlocked. Looks like you don't have your siege unlocked. You don't have your archers unlocked. In terms of buildings, that is going to be pretty important. So let's your barracks 35, academy 35, stables 35. Where are your other buildings? Trap factory, no. Archer camp. Okay, so you're 1 away from getting your tier 14 unlocked there, and you're 2 away here for your workshop. So wrap those up. You want to have all of those unlocked, and you need to start working on your troop count too. Not cavalry. Stop with these guys. You can build a bit more tier 13. So build like 1 million or 2 tier 13 instead of that tier 14. And then stop there too. Don't go beyond that. That's already too much. And then you can start working on your layers for your cavalry, since you'll have not too much else to do. Yeah, your layers are looking really, really thin in a lot of the troops. So every single tier you want, I think at your size, probably 500,000 at least. It would be a good amount to layer up. So all your tier 1s, 500,000, not just here. Tier 2s, minimum 500,000. I'm not saying get rid of the ones that you already have, leave them, but you've got big gaps, really big layer gaps, and that is not going to be helpful. You need to build those up. And when you finish your layers here, then you really want to work on that. All your missing stuff, like all your ground, your siege you're missing. You need way more archers than this. Tier 14, you need some of those. And then when you've got that a little more rounded, you can also start to look at the, it's like you want solid layers all across the board, and then you want kind of a hump around the tier 11, tier 12 troops. So you have quite a bit of those, and then you want to kind of ramp up with your tier 13 and tier 14. And arguably, in some of the later stages in the game, like I would not say from where you're at right now. Where you're at, definitely tier 13, probably heavy, more tier 14s and stuff, so you can get into PvP. But at the higher stages, tier 12 and tier 11 and that kind of level are really, really valuable, especially with the giant rallies going on. So build up those layers. Build, especially the tier 12 and above, get those numbers up. Yeah, you got a lot of work to do with your troop counts and layering. If you have any further questions on that, check out the Art of War videos, and you'll kind of see what layers should and could look like. Granted, that was a while ago, but it's still pretty much the case. Okay, what else can we look at here? So we talked about your generals, we talked about your resources and all that. What kind of subsidies do you have? Purple Japan is very nice. Okay, China. Usually that would go on an alt, but it does have increased to troop speed. Where are you? So resource production, which is good, and training speed 10%. So you're going to be working on a lot of training. Eventually, you'd prefer to put that on an alt, but if you're doing lots and lots of training, then that's beneficial too. And if you don't have alts, then keep it. But ideally, you would swap some of these to Japan's or Russia's and move China's over to an alt. That's really what you'd want to do here. Okay. I already saw your dragons, kind of. They look like they have the right idea for refines. They're looking good. Looks like your demon is almost done. Very close. And your Fafnir is working its way right now. Let's check over here on your Dragon Cliff. How is your Norway Ridge looking? looks like you haven't really figured out what you want to do with your Norway Ridge yet. A lot of people use Norway Ridge as a ground, like for your, you'd put it on like your Trajan, for example, so like PvP ground. And the reason people do that is because it's really hard to get the dragons that are more from like All Stars and so on that actually buff your ground. So there's not a lot of options. You can do that, or you can use it in other ways too. But try to figure out what you want to do with this guy. Have you put any talents? Oh, so pretty easy here. You might not even know that this exists. So if you go into the Dragon Cliff and you click on talent, you already have frost power that you could do. So I'm not going to do it for you, but you go talent awakening and it'll unlock the skill, and then you can like increase it. You have a lot of the pieces to actually bring that number up. So you can dump it into there and improve your stats for this dragon. And since that's actually going to go on your wall general, if you follow my advice there, that will buff your ground troops that are at home defending. And when you get to level 6, you'll have this unlocked too that you can work on, and so on. And hopefully, eventually, you'll unlock your Dragon of Thebes as well. You are going to be, I can tell just looking at your generals and your refinement, you're probably going to be here for a little while at Keep 35. You do have several pieces of civilization gear, which is going to make it easier for you to get those 5.8 generals. But I wouldn't recommend right now with your development necessarily jumping forward into Keep 36 and beyond. Have some fun at 35. Get yourself built up a little bit and move forward. You can, if you want. Like, it wouldn't be that hard of a push for somebody that has that many civilization pieces to do it. But I feel like if you haven't even unlocked your tier 14s yet, it's probably a better idea to get yourself stabilized at 35 before you move forward, but probably not so much with troops. So I did mention that you want to round out your layers and so on, but also keep in mind that yes, you definitely need to work on those layers. Have to work on them. But troops disappear. If you are not a giant player on your server, which you're not, I think I saw in the rankings you were like in the 30s or 40s or so on your server. I could be wrong. I'm going by memory here. If you drop your bubble and you get hit, you lose all your troops. Whereas if you invest them in buildings, then no, that's a permanent investment. So keep that in mind too. Build up your layers, but maybe don't go heavy into troop building. Instead, build up your layers so you're defensible and you can PvP well, and look more forward to building up your city and getting prepared for that push upwards. Keep 36 and so on. Unlock your military academy and that kind of thing. So all I'm saying is get your buildings done for sure. Get layers finished, but don't go to like 5 billion power of troops. It wouldn't make sense. After you do those first initial steps, then start looking towards finishing off your general and then moving forward to Keep 36 and beyond. What other areas could we look at? I think we've covered pretty much most of it. That's quite a lot we've talked about. How long has this been so far? 30 minutes or so? 35 minutes? Sounds about right. Okay, I think we are about done here. I can't think of anything else to really talk about. Yeah, I'm going to end it here. If you do have any more questions about something that I've said, especially talking to the person I'm making this video for, if you do have any additional questions about something that I said in the video, then feel free to just send me a message on Discord or something like that, and we can have a little chat. If you out there watching this want to have a consultation video with me going through your account, walking through and looking for areas for you to improve, just send an email to TheMiserEvony@gmail.com. And I will see you guys in the next video.